Hello, Flat Earth researchers, debaters and debunkers. Once again, I'm forced to respond to an anti-Flat Earther desperate to cling on to his globe Earth belief, who has used one of my videos in his attempt to debunk the Flat Earth while comparing pictures of the pylons across Lake Pontchartrain to say that these are proof of curvature. In a way, this is good that this young man is taking this approach, because it just shows once again how little discernment and research and real thought and real experiments these people will put into defending the globe, and make snap judgments without proper investigation. So we'll just play some pieces of what this young man is saying and presenting, and I'll respond in kind as we go.
So I went to New Orleans, and on the way there on I-10, I saw this. This is a set of power lines on Lake Pontchartrain, and it just so happens to show the curvature of the Earth. But that picture isn't mine. I was with a bunch of people and we didn't have the time to stop, pull over on a busy highway that's on a bridge just to take a few pictures. Instead, I went home and looked it up and found out that a year ago soundly made this exact same observation.
Okay, it really seems insane to have to point this out, but anyone who really believes that this is some kind of proof of curvature must believe that the globe Earth is about the size of France. I mean, that's just so extreme, it's ridiculous. I've wanted to kind of point some of the things out in these photographs for a long time, but I mean, we can see for a start here that the horizon, the water is flat. Okay, it's horizontal, as it always is. And one thing to point out here is that we have a very low camera angle. We'll come to that later on, but just to jump on this as some kind of proof of curvature is ridiculous. It's just, you know, there are so many other elements going on here that make this curve happen, and it's so extreme that it's just ridiculous to assume that it's anything to do with curvature on the surface, which we can see just isn't there. This is something going on above the surface. It's an optical phenomenon. Anyway.
And it's posted about it, and there's been quite a bit of discussion. The point is, those who believe in the flat Earth will often say something along the lines of, show me the curvature, show me a picture of the curvature, or how can I see the curvature of the Earth? You know, I'm sure you've heard something like that if you watched Flat Earthers for some reason. And this is a good demonstration of the curvature of the Earth.
Okay, so of course, yes, show me the curve is one of those things often said, and hence anti-flat earthers, globe defenders jumping on this as some kind of proof. Of course, a sphere is supposed to curve in all directions, not only in front of you, and this is why we understand that perspective is the imaginary curve, because this is the only way we can see curvature, or what is perceived as curvature.
So that should be it, right? They asked to see the curve of the Earth, and we showed them the curvature of the Earth, so this should remove any doubt that the Earth is a globe.
Again, we were just shown a forward-facing view of what appears to be curvature, which is really just perspective. Now he's going to show clips of a video I made recently with sauce bottles on a tabletop to demonstrate perspective, and how the view along the sauce bottles and the side-on view is different.
Right? Well, you must be pretty new here, because of course they're not satisfied.
This is going to be a quick and simple demonstration of perspective, one that's pretty obvious, but one that has to be pointed out because so many people are still denying that perspective is a thing and are really trying hard not to get it. So just showing here that from the side, this external reference frame of these bottles on the table, we can see very clearly that they are all the same height. Yeah. Now you can imagine that these bottles are, say, electricity pylons going across Lake Pontchartrain, if you like. Okay, we see that they're all the same height, yeah, on this flat, smooth surface. So if I just put the camera down here. Okay, one thing he's done here is cut out what I continue to say after pointing out that this is a flat, smooth surface taken indoors, and of course the table is an artificial surface, and when we try and make these observations outdoors across rugged surfaces such as water, which is obviously moving and has troughs and waves and things like that, or even a road that is also rugged, they are never completely smooth. I've had hundreds of comments on this particular video saying, well, I don't see the bottoms of the sauce bottles disappearing. Well, of course you don't, and I did point out in this video that you would not see that effect because the surface is completely smooth and it's indoors. So it's we are not getting these dilations or dips and troughs on the surface that we would see outdoors, and we are also not getting the effects of weather, temperature differences, water vapor, and all the other things that contribute to the optical phenomenon that we see when we make observations outdoors. Okay, so he has edited and cut out the points I made that specifically address this particular issue. We can make a few more observations as well. Yeah, people talk about angular size, and yes, there are angles. There is an angle at which these bottles appear to be descending towards the horizon. There is also an angle at which the flat surface appears to be rising up to eye level. Yeah, so this shows us that the flat surface appears to rise to eye level due to perspective. Yeah, just as the bottles appear to get shorter and to converge at the horizon due to perspective. Yeah, but it's very simple. So here is the kind of observation that we usually make from this internal frame of reference. Yeah, this is what the observer sees.
I'm not entirely sure what he's trying to say here, but if he's trying to say that this explains what we see in the image, then, well, he's wrong. I mean, yeah, on a flat Earth, perspective would make the towers seem to converge towards the horizon, but in a straight line. In this image, it is curved. To put it simply, this is what we would see on a flat Earth, and this is what we would see on a round Earth or globe Earth, and this is what we actually see. So I mean, you be the judge.
Yeah, he is correct. You be the judge, and if you do your research and make your own observations and do your own experiments outdoors, taking photographs or video at a low level, you will see this optical phenomenon of curvature. This is something I pointed out in this video here a while ago, seeing imaginary curvature on flat Earth. We can see right here that these straight railings, when viewed from this low level across a flat surface, appear to curve down, okay, giving us exactly the same optical effect that we see with those pylons taken with a low perspective across the surface. If Soundly had raised up the camera half a meter or a meter, he would have seen, just as we see in this video, that the pylons become straight again. Okay. Mirrors. Yeah. Let's just have a look and see when that comes up. We eventually see this convergence, but there is no... Okay, when we get blurred, okay, we get this higher perspective. We can see that these railings are in fact straight, okay, and obeying the laws of perspective. But when we are looking at it like this, from a very low level, we are getting a lot of distortion, this apparent curvature, exactly as we saw with the low perspective view of the pylons across Lake Pontchartrain. I also observed this about 3 years ago when I first started making flat earth videos, and I wasn't really a flat earther then. I was just really looking at all this different phenomenon. And if we have a look over here, again we can see exactly the same thing we are seeing in the Lake Pontchartrain video. We have this flat horizontal line across the surface, okay, we have a lot of blurring going on above it, and we have this apparent convergence of the things on the side. And what we have here is this mirroring going on, okay. So all of this here, the surface is still there, it's extending beyond this hard line that we can see here, okay, it's actually extending up to here. But what we are getting is mirroring on the surface of the things above it, okay? And this is why people talk about a drop at the horizon, or the horizon not rising to eye level, because you actually do not see the surface beyond this apparent horizon line. But the surface is extending beyond that and going up here, and it is mirroring the things that are above it. This is likely due to the angle of incidence of reflected light, because it just is too shallow when we look across a flat surface, and this is why the horizon appears to come closer to us the lower we go, and further away the higher we go, okay? This is an observation that anyone can make, and this man should have made when he was making these comparisons.
Yeah, so when you make these observations of alleged curvature, you've got this one from the observer's perspective, and then to be scientific about it, you will then have to go and get a side-on view of that alleged curvature. Okay, so if you're claiming that a ship is going down a curve a few miles in front of you, then all you have to do is go a few miles in the other direction and get a side-on view of this alleged curvature.
Okay, so just to repeat, what I'm pointing out is the thing that all flat earthers have realized, is that perspective is the imaginary curve, and that when we have this side-on view, we do not see the curvature that we see when we have a forward-looking view of whatever we imagine to be curvature. Now, he's going to now accuse me of shifting the goalposts.
Yeah, it's not going to happen, it's not been done, never has been done, and will never be done by anyone trying to defend the globe, because all you will get is this.
And this is an old trick that we call moving the goalposts. See, flat earth...
Okay, it's not a trick, it's an observation of our reality, that if you are going to claim there is curvature in front of you, then you also have to be able to see that curvature in all directions, from the side as well. This is just logical if you're going to claim that we are on a sphere with a surface that curves away from us in all directions. So he's arguing a moot point here, misinterpreting and obfuscating what I'm actually saying.
Earthers have been saying for a while, you know, show me the curve. I don't see the curve. Show me the curve of the Earth. And that in itself is a pretty tall order, but sure, here's the curvature of the Earth. So that should be it. We fulfilled the request. We hit the goal that they set, except now the goal posts have moved. Now,
okay, so we have this we thing, okay, demonstrating that you are part of a group of people, a cult or a culture. And just take a look at the books that this guy always displays behind him. Of course, we've got these pictures of space, etc. We've got the God delusion, and basically things that are atheist publications. Atheism goes along with the globe earth belief because it is some kind of perceived proof that this earth was created by some cosmic accident, no particular reason. And you know, we have these supporters of people like Richard Dawkins, who wants to claim that evolution happened with no intelligence behind it. The intelligence came afterwards, and it's just one of these things that goes along with the expanding universe, Big Bang, ball earth belief, because there is this claim that there is no creation or intelligence behind the earth and everything on it. It's really ridiculous. It's one point I'd like to make, which might be above the average globe head's head, is that everything material that we manifest on this earth, whether it's you have a car or a property, a house, a marriage, a partner, a family, these are all things, money even, these are all things that at some point we didn't have, but they were thoughts, desires, something that we wanted to create. The only way you can manifest something out of nothing is to have some kind of intelligence behind that creation. To assume that we have that a physical world existed and then intelligence came later is just that. It's just an assumption, and it doesn't fit with the reality of us having thoughts, desires, needs, wants, and then taking action to make those things become material things in our lives. Yeah? It is the thought, the intelligence that is the creator of our material world. Does that make sense? It does to me. Thank you very much.